Welcome to Andrea's Kitchen. Thank you for coming in and cooking with me today. Today we're going to be making pork quesadillas. I'm excited. I love quesadillas. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to my skillet. Not too much, just probably a half a teaspoon. I don't want it too much. But this is how I'm going to make my tortilla nice and brown, and it's going to be delicious. Second of all, I've got some pork that I've heated up. The pork, you know how when you guys come into my kitchen, you always see I have pork in the freezer. So I took the pork from the freezer. I took the black beans from the freezer as well. But you can get a can of black beans and use them just as well. Or you can get a can of pinto beans. Or you can use refried beans. I prefer the black bean. And I'm also going to put a little bit of corn on mine today. So we're going to have a black bean corn pork and cheese quesadilla with green salsa that I made earlier. The green salsa I had actually made a few days ago. It's just jalapenos, tomatillos, cilantro, and you can use a half of green bell pepper as well. And you use onion in it, and just I have to puree mine, so this is what mine looks like. Mine is a pureed sauce because I do not like the crunch of the onion. So we're going to get started. I'm going to put my first tortilla down, and this is where I'm going to put the cheese. I'm going to put it nice and even all over the tortilla. Give it a good healthy dose on the bottom because that's what makes everything else stick. And then what I'm going to do is take my meat and add my meat. I'm going to put this shredded pork all around so every piece of the tortilla gets some. And my pork is already seasoned. I seasoned mine in my crock pot. So I'm just going to leave it this way, and then we can add salsa. Or you can take and add your salsa right now. But I just leave mine like this because I always have a lot of seasoning in my food. So I'm going to take the black beans. I'm just going to put a few. This is a really nice hearty quesadilla. This is a good dinner quesadilla or a lunch quesadilla if you're sharing, like I'm always sharing with my husband and my son. I'm not going to take very much corn. Just going to sprinkle it around. Corn's just going to add a little bit of flavor and a little bit of sweetness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of the cheese and put it on top. It's going to help make everything nice and gooey. And for my one quesadilla, I use like a half a cup of cheese. Maybe a little bit less. And I'm just going to put the top on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my spatula and I'm going to check my underside. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. So as I was talking, we were cooking. So I'm going to take my quesadilla and I'm just going to leave it there for a minute. Let everything get nice and hot. Cook it a little bit more on the one side. And then what we'll do is we'll flip it. Very, very easy lunch. Very, very easy dinner. Very inexpensive. You can do anything on the quesadilla you would like. I'm just letting the cheese melt just a little bit more so I don't have any fallout. And that's, I flip my quesadilla over nice. And I don't know if you can see in there, but it's starting to get nice and brown. Now we're going to do the other side. And we're going to just let it cook. I used burrito sized tortillas. You can use any size tortillas you want. If you don't have the big tortillas, use the small tortillas. Just make a few of them. You know, you can also use a corn tortilla. Corn tortilla quesadillas taste very, very good as well, especially with pork and black beans. But you can put anything in this thing, but oh, it tastes delicious just like that. And I learned that dipping sauces are much more fun for the family because you can put any sauce. You can put guacamole, you can put red sauce. I prefer red sauce, but I'm really coming around to green sauce lately, so I'm going to actually eat my piece of the quesadilla with green sauce today. And then I'm going to get my cutting board and my knife because we're going to cut this. This is almost done. I'm going to check the bottom side real fast. Oh yeah, coming up good. we are almost ready. And so when I make quesadillas, usually I'll do a side of rice, or I'll just do quesadillas, depending on how hungry we are that night, what we feel like eating. That's how I'll do it. But normally a side of rice, and then you have your meat, you have your beans, and you have your tortilla and your cheese. So therefore you are good to go. And like I said, line the salsas up. Give everybody their own little dipping cup to dip in, and they'll just be so happy. Also, another thing I learned, fun things with kids with quesadillas, if you get the squeeze sour cream, they just love squeezing it. It's a real fun thing for them to do too, and it seems like they enjoy their lunch or dinner much better. Okay, this is looking super great. I'm just going to keep it there one more minute because it's a fat quesadilla. And then what we'll do is we'll cut that and we'll sample it. It's a good quesadilla. So like I said, you can use any meat you want. You can use fresh product. You can use canned beans, any type you prefer. And corn, I just use some frozen corn. When gardens come up and everything like that, we'll be able to use fresh corn, and we'll all be happy campers. Okay, that looks fantastic. I'm able to hold it just like that. So this looks great. And it's done on both sides. I'm going to turn it over back to that side. I'm going to turn my pan off. See what I mean about a skillet? A blast from the past? Mm-hmm. And oh, I don't need that old thing. Boy, that skillet comes in handy. Sure is great for making quesadillas. Okay, so basically, I just cut my quesadilla like that. And then I'm going to cut it one more time. Got food all over me. But that's what you're supposed to have all over you when you are in the kitchen, food. Okay. And then you just line them up like that. And then I'm going to cheat. I'm going to take, but I want to steal that piece of meat right there. And I'm going to layer this one and put this one back there like that. But this is going to be my piece to try. Got some meat, tortilla, got the black bean, got some corn in there. Really good. My pork is nice and smoky from when I cooked it. The black beans have a good flavor. I also used a ham hock when I cooked my fresh beans, so it tastes pretty darn good. The corn is really a good bite. The corn adds a little bit of sweetness, which I really like. I'm starting to really come around, and it tastes really good. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And thanks for coming in and cooking with me, Andrea.